Yeah. Here we go. Aswan Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Tuesday, another Tuesday, folks, which means another top 5 list for the week. According to this, it actually is Teacher Appreciation Week. So this week's top 5, as a teacher, someone who's been teaching now, officially teacher full-time for the past 3 years now, as a teacher, top 5 lessons that I've learned in my 3 years as a teacher. All right, let's get right into it. Starting off at number 5, because very possible that I'll get long-winded on this, because it was really, actually the challenge was getting this list down to just five lessons, because I've learned feel like I learned about 500 lessons a week. All right, so the challenge was actually getting it down to the 5, the actual condensing all the things that I've learned and condensing it to 5 reasons that's easily adjustable for you guys as viewers. All right, so here we go. Coming in at 5. You got to accept the fact that they're not your kids. All right, the students that you teach, and I get it, because the reason you got to accept, the reason this is so important is because we get into teaching, we get into being an educator because we love to see the growth and development of the young people. We love to see the growth and the development of the students and how they learn from one day to the next, how they just grow in so many different ways. So when you get kids who are not growing, who are not progressing in the manner that you feel like they should be progressing, you have got to accept the fact that they are not your kids. All right, you get to and you have to give them back. They're not yours. All right, that is a very challenging one, especially for passionate educators like me who never actually planned on getting into the education world per se, didn't necessarily go to school for it, just fell into it because of just straight passion. So you got to accept the fact that they're not your kids, and that's something I continue to work towards to this very day. All right, number 4, the more things you can do, the better. The more things you can do, the better. Understand, when I first got into this business, one of my mentors is a lady named Miss Perla. All right, Miss Perla was absolutely fantastic. When I say she was fantastic, it was because of the amount of things that she was able to do. She was bilingual. She went from watching the infants all the way to watching the school-age kids, and she cooked the meals at times when people would work abandoned and not show up, and she'd also drive the buses if she needed to be, okay? Understand, the more things you can do, to the point where I remember there was a point where it became my responsibility to drive buses and things like that. So understand, the more things you can do, the better. The education world, and when it comes to teaching young people, it's all about entrepreneurship. It's all about, like my man Robert Kiyosaki said in the famous book Rich Dad Poor Dad, it's all about knowing a little bit about a lot. It's not necessarily about some, like I said, some fancy certification that you may have, some fancy degree at some fancy school. It's about how many things you're able to do and how much actual real life work experience you have. All right, number 3. Do not try, and again, this might sound very contradictory coming from me, seeing that how I go at it with the kids every single day, but you have got to make sure you're making an effort, putting the effort. Do not get angry at the children, all right? You got to accept it. This is something, like I said, is a difficult thing for me to deal with in the moment, but you cannot direct your anger towards the kids, all right? You got to direct your anger towards the system, towards the parents, all right? It's the parents, and it's whether it's the parents, the biological parents, or just the household in which they're raised in, the environment in which they're raised in. That's all they're doing is simply the shit that they think is normal. They are, if they don't, have manners, if they're rude, if they're this, again, that's all a product of the environment of the household that they're raised in. So the anger that you may feel towards a kid, you got to direct that anger towards the parents. You got to direct that anger towards the system. You got to direct that anger towards the household or the environment or the community in which they're being brought up in, all right? Number 2, very, very important one. All right, take this one from me. Be very motherfucking careful when it comes to getting romantically involved with the parents. All right, trust me. I take this one from me. I could speak on this if I wanted to. I could speak on this for hours upon hours. I've had my top 5 list of just hot, incredibly sexy looking moms coming in and out the facility. And this is something I could speak on even from back when I was in fitness. All right, whether it was in fitness, whether it was a high school coach, when you get that connection, understand this logically, all right? When 2 individuals have a kid together, there's they do everything in their power, absolutely everything in their power to stay with that individual, all right? Because there's kids involved and you don't want to necessarily break up a family. So when it does have to happen, when shit does hit the fan and you do have to actually end the relationship because it's gotten so bad, understand how wounded it would leave an individual. Understand how wounded it would leave an individual. And one of my favorite sayings, understand that Band-Aids do not fix bullet wounds, all right? When you're dealing with someone who is a single mother or a single father, they're wounded, they're hurt, they're bleeding out, all right? And if all you can offer is a Band-Aid and you're not the person that's providing the rubbing alcohol and allowing it to burn and burn and burn, then again, it's not a place you want to play in, because the infatuation is going to be there. And assuming that I'm speaking to people who are halfway decent teachers, yes, the kids are going to love you. Yes, the connection is clearly going to be there, but you got to ask yourself, here's what you got to ask yourself. If you are interested or you may think of pursuing a parent romantically, you got to ask yourself, look, can I be friends with this person, all right? Can I, before I start laying the pipe, before you lay the pipe the right way, because understand that someone who has kids is used to having sex on the regular, used to getting someone on the regular. So if you're that person that's just comforting them, then you're going down a lane that you really don't want to play in. And you have to ask yourself, can you be friends with this person before you lay the pipe, all right? Just again, take it from me. Take it from me. I've been down this road before, and this is just telling you what I know, just speaking to you from experience. Again, I could speak on hours upon that. But number one thing that I've learned as a teacher, here it is, all right? I'm gonna hurt someone. I hurt someone with this one, all right? They do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. All right, so what I'm saying is the students, whether it's the elementary school student, whether it's the high school student, whether it's the college student, whether it's the new employee, the new entry-level employee, does not care how much you know until they know how much you care. So that fancy degree that you're spending a small fortune on, the students don't give a shit about that until they know how much you actually give a shit about them. Why would they? Again, they're brand new. They can make money however they want to make in this world. Why do I care about your doctrine or your master's or whatever degree you may have or whatever certification you may have until I know how much you care about me? That's just the truth, all right? So that's top five. That's top five for the week. Top five doing this again. Just to recap, top 5 lessons that I've learned as a teacher, doing this as a way of celebrating Teacher Appreciation Week. Number 5, understanding that they're not your kids. Number 4, the more you can do, the better. Number 3, do not get mad at the kids. Do not get mad at the students. Get mad at the system. Get mad at the household. Number 2, be careful before you get romantically involved with any of the parents. And number 1, they don't care how much you know till they know how much you care, all right? Main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, makeyourmove.com. That's makeyourmove.com. One-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.